What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. And whilst our viewers in the United States recover from Thanksgiving dinners, we're still working to get you the latest news and rumours from the wrestling world. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at a disturbing Mauro Ranallo update, CM Punk's heat with Hogan, Shawn Micheals' future in wrestling, the real reason Mike Kanellis asked for his release, and more details on why Vince was really angry backstage at the Survivor Series. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos like this. But let's waste no further time and get straight into the first story, as there is an update on Mauro Ranallo, and sadly, he's reportedly to be in rough shape. Now, for fans wondering how NXT announcer Mauro Ranallo is doing, things don't appear to be going well. Ranallo provided commentary at NXT TakeOver War Games, but following criticism from SmackDown announcer Corey Graves, Ranallo missed Survivor Series, with the WWE announcing Ranallo had strained his voice, but would return for this week's NXT. However, Ranallo missed the latest edition of NXT, with reports that he would return the next week. During an episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer revealed, "He's in rough shape. I think everyone pretty much knows the situation. It was pretty bad the last couple of days, so it's pretty bad. It's a day-by-day thing. There's no way of knowing what's going to happen next. It was a very unfortunate situation, and I think we've spoken a lot about it, but it's probably worse than we said." Although Corey Graves apologized, some fans saw the insult as a weak apology and more of a promotional tool for Graves' new podcast After the Bell. Next up, Mr. WrestleMania talks his future and the future of wrestling. Shawn Micheals recently spoke with Sports Illustrated about his future in wrestling as well as the future of professional wrestling. "I'd rather stay behind the scenes and let the stars of tomorrow take their rightful place. My time has come and gone. This is all about them. NXT is wrestling at its best. We're going to continue on that track, and that's showing people the best talent in WWE, which is NXT. The Heartbreak Kid also talked about three of NXT's hottest stars, Keith Lee, Adam Cole and Shayna Baszler. They deliver every single time they're out there. All three of them all embrace and adapt to big situations. I've never seen one of them not look cool, calm or collected when they go out into high-impact, highly visible matches. There hasn't been a time for any of them where the situation was too big or got the better of them, and that gives us a great deal of confidence moving forward. These are all big-time performers. They certainly are, but what does the future have in store for them, as most futures are left in the hands of Vince McMahon. And as we've noted in previous videos, he could cancel a push just like that." Next up, Batista says to Dana Brooke he can call her daddy. Now, the Dana Brooke Dave Batista online flirt fest continues, with Brooke tweeting on Thanksgiving, "Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone enjoys the time with family and friends. I'm grateful for Batista texting me and the Twitter world for supporting this." Brooke's tweet mentioned that there's a lot going down in the DMs, that being direct messages, something obvious by a recent tweet from Batista, who's getting creepier by the second. "So per our conversation, I've been in deep thought about your question, which you can tell from the photo that I've entitled Me in Deep Thought About Dana's Question, and the answer is yes. You can call me daddy. Happy Thanksgiving." Yikes, some people just need to keep this shit off Twitter. You want to be called daddy? Well, be called daddy in the bedroom. Anyway, moving on from that, the real reason why Mike Kanellis requested his release. On 14th October, Mike Kanellis requested his release from WWE despite having just signed a new 5-year deal with the company. Now Kanellis is revealing his motivation for asking to leave, and it may surprise you. During an appearance on the Smarks and Stripes podcast, Kanellis revealed, "For me, it was all personal. It had nothing to do with the company. Since the minute I got to WWE, they've treated me great. They've treated my wife great. They've treated my daughter great. They've treated me great. When I came out and I said I had an addiction, there was no negativity from anybody. It was just constant support." Nonetheless, the lack of storyline seemed to have disappointed him, especially now that he's clean and sober. Well, I think honestly again, I should go back to it. There are so many talented guys on the roster right now. So I mean, and I'm not saying I'm not, and I'm not saying I would be a good fit, but what I am saying, if those guys are getting the opportunity and they're doing their job and they're successful at it, then they're not necessarily going to look for next man up, because there's no need. You hope that it's next many up. You don't hope that someone goes down with an injury, but you hope that you are ready if someone goes down. But pro wrestling now is just loaded with talent, like I see people talking about it. It's the best thing I've ever seen in any company, on the independents or any national company. Like, everyone is just really friggin' good right now. That talented performer nonetheless knows he is a big fish in a big pond, and that his chances of getting his release are very remote. As far as WWE not giving my release, I think it's like everywhere. The New England Patriots aren't going to release someone they think the New York Jets are going to pick up, and I think we have to think of it like that. It's not negative, just how it works. It works in sports and it works in pro wrestling. Next up, CM Punk's real life heat with Hulk Hogan. Now, CM Punk fans probably know that Roddy Piper was his favourite wrestler growing up as a fan. However, what about Rowdy Roddy's frenemy Hulk Hogan? During a chat with Windy City Live, Wrestling Straight Edge superstar revealed,
I wasn't a Hogan guy.
You've met him though now.
I've met him, and like him even less now.
You're crushing my childhood dreams.
Him.
well, we'll guess there's no chance of CM Punk ever being Hogan's last opponent. Oof, what were we saying? That would be an awful match. Stone Cold Steve Austin's opinion of CM Punk. Although we don't quite know how the Hulkster feels about Punk, we do know how WWE icon Stone Cold Steve Austin does. During an appearance on Brian Campbell's CBS Sports State of Combat podcast, the Bionic Redneck shared his thoughts on Punk's role on WWE Backstage.
I don't know if it leads to anything more. I guess, speculation to be determined, and we'll find out. Just the fact that he's, returned to be doing business with WWE, I love, because I don't know, that they split up on bad terms, and now they're back in business together. CM Punk was a lights-out pro wrestler, great promos, great work, great talent. So to have him back in the fold, obviously, I guess they iron whatever they need to iron out, and, both sides are happy. So it's great to have CM Punk back in the pro wrestling / sports entertainment business. I think it's a breath of fresh air, because the guy, brings a great perspective, great insight, and great opinion on all things sports entertainment.
Next up, what WWE Backstage won't cover. Are there any subjects that WWE Backstage won't cover? Well, recently Ryan Satin, one of FS1's show's correspondents, shared his thoughts on what subjects the show might not cover, such as the ACH, aka Jordan Miles situation, or the WWE Saudi Arabia shows. I'm not the producer of the show, so I don't make those decisions. I'm very low on the totem pole in terms of what's going to be discussed. I don't think they want me there for opinions, as they want me there to break news, stated Satin, who then added that he's still figuring it out as he goes, but he hasn't been told to shy away from anything when it comes to negative stories. I believe there will be times when I have to talk about negative things. It's just we're in week 2 and nothing super negative has happened for me to discuss. According to the Wrestling Inc. article, Satin noted that he pitched that they should talk about the Saudi issues, but it was already on the run sheet. When it comes to the ACH situation, there is a lot of unknowns, and I think they'd rather play it safe, said Satin. It's a case-by-case basis, I think. Next up, Shayna Baszler talks Ronda Rousey. Former MMA fighter and current NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler is no stranger to MMA, having worked a number of promotions before training under Ronda Rousey in the UFC's Ultimate Fighter show. But what does Baszler think about comparisons between her and former Raw Women's Champion Rowdy Ronda? Speaking with Corey Graves, the champ said, "So we've always had to deal with being associated. Whether right or wrong, our success, our failures, just because she is more well known than the other 3 of us might have been. If anyone talked about us, it was only because of her. It was just something that we had to learn to just shrug off. And I think the 4 of us supportive of each other, we genuinely take pleasure when one of us gets any success. We're friends, so we have some friendly banter here and there about who's done what and all that, but it's not nobody's pretending anybody's cooler than anybody else. It's kind of fun. I mean, who doesn't want their friends at work with them? Fans are already discussing a possible Baszler vs Rousey match at WrestleMania 36 if Rousey returns to wrestling in 2020. We're banking on the Royal Rumble. Next up, Nikki Bella's family is thankful she never married John Cena. A recent article at RadarOnline.com indicated Nikki Bella's family is glad that she never tied the knot with John Cena after 2 failed engagements. According to the article, now a family source close to the twins revealed Nikki has never been happier than she is right now with her new boyfriend and former Dancing with the Stars partner Artem Chingvintsev. Nikki's close family members believe her relationship with Artem is a sign that her relationship with John was not meant to be. The article goes on to discuss the family's relief at the wedding being called off 2 times. Nikki is a very happy woman right now, said the Family Insider, adding that it's a blessing that her wedding to Cena never happened. She found her true happiness, the source continued. The family source added that while Nikki's relatives wished the best for John, they're relieved he and Nikki didn't go that far. It was good it ended before a wedding. She's just blessed that it happened this way. When she does decide to marry, it'll be her first true wedding, the source continued. Judging from the source's comments, it appears Cena was future endeavored by Nikki's family. And our last story of today, why Vince was really furious after Survivor Series. Now, right after the Survivor Series pay-per-view, reports started to flood the internet that Vince was furious with the triple threat main event women's match. Not much detail was given, but sources backstage have told that he really was irate at the match, as it was heavily worked on and rehearsed, with one story reporting that Vince was in the referee's earpiece screaming at him to do more high spots, but that was later refuted from Dave Meltzer, indicating he was just furious. Meltzer went on to say, "There were a few awkward spots, surprising since the bout was heavily worked on and practiced. It got so bad that Vince McMahon was really mad about it as it was going on. There was a story going around Vince was so mad he was telling the ref high spots for them to do as the match was going on, but those in the company have only said McMahon was mad, saying he had every right to be, but said he was not sending high spots to the referee while the match was going on. How could this affect both Becky Lynch, Bayley and Shayna Baszler? The match wasn't great, but was Vince's anger justified? Let us know in the comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.